All right. Have you recovered?
Hopefully now this morning. I was snoozing a lot after a red eye Sunday night to Monday morning. I still didn't sleep when I immediately got home. I mean, I slept some on that flight, but I kept snoozing this morning. So I think catching up on the sleep for sure.
Yeah, dude, I'm worn out, bro. Absolutely worn out, and I got to drive to Tampa tomorrow, so that's gonna not be fun. But I'm looking forward to it. So
yeah, those long flights they really hit you going coast to coast and back in a few days. But man, Seattle was a great city, so I mean, all worth it. Not so much for that Dolphins game, but
the game absolutely sucked. It was terrible. I gave man, how many thousands of Dolphin fans were there? I was impressed. Where we were sitting, you look across between the 10 and the 30. There were a couple thousand Dolphin fans just right there.
Yeah, good crowd. And I mean, it's a long way from Miami, but I think still Dolphins have a sort of a wide-ranging enough fan base where throughout the country, hey, even internationally, I know across the seas and in Europe, there's a lot of Dolphins fans, but also this being a city that the Dolphins are only going there once every 8 years. So, a rare occasion to get to check out the Emerald City.
Yeah, it was cool. I told my wife I can't wait to bring you because it's actually a really, really cool place. Just make sure that your car the brakes work because boy, those are some hills, bro. Those are some steep ass hills. I can't imagine the rainy and snowy season driving in the.
Yeah, what happens there?
No, I just would not drive. There's no way I'm driving, bro. There's no way I'm driving.
Yeah, that would be dangerous. Yeah, because I mean, I know I wasn't driving myself. I just took an Uber. Everything's kind of consolidated there near downtown as far as getting to the stadium. But yeah, I mean, I noticed some of those hills, and just walking it. Either if you're going up, it's like Stairmaster to the max going up, and then going down, you really got to control yourself on the way down. So, and I noticed some cars stopped at a red light on a steep hill, and it's one of those where I think if you just leave it idle, it's going to go backwards, right? So you have to,
you leave it in drive, not neutral. Obviously, in drive, it'll go backwards.
Yes. Yeah, in drive where you don't have your foot on the pedal, it'll start. So you have to go immediately from the brake to hit the gas quickly, so it doesn't go backwards and hit the guy behind you.
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. And when you hit when you go from brake to accelerator, it always goes back a couple of inches.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I drove a truck for 5 days there. I had to drive a big old Ford F-150. So that's what I was driving the entire time with the extended cab, me and Sean, because that's all they had. I actually rented a car, but it was at budget, and the line was like 3 hours long. And I go, man, let me go try another place, and I had to pay $50 extra, but I didn't make the line, so I said, "F it, dude, I'm paying the $50, and I'm doing it." So yeah. I drove. And let me tell you, driving a truck in that city, that's also tough because there are streets where it's a two-way street, but only one car fits. It's dude, driving that city, it was a challenge, I gotta say.
I went with Perk and Joe Shad because Joe rented a car, so we went to the other side of the water, the bay there, where you get we had dinner where we had a nice city view from across the water, but then also nearby there was a beach where we could see a nice sunset. And all the parking around there was, they fill up the regular parking on the street very quickly. So and a lot more people go than the parking they have available. So parking extends deep into the residential area behind it. And a lot of those streets, it was like, there were supposed to be two-way streets, but it's only one car going by each way with how cars were parked on both sides of the road. So, I know what you mean. I saw it.
It's tough. All right, man. So what do you tell the Dolphin Nation about what's going on? What when you decipher what's going on? What is the problem?
Boy, yeah, it's a wide-ranging, broad topic there. What's going on is right now. Well, here's what I wrote just yesterday: is you look at the schedule and knowing that you won't have Tua Tagovailoa for the next 3 weeks. Right now, these are about as much of must-win games as you can have this early in the season as you can find, even without your starting quarterback. Because you look at the schedule, you need to stay afloat right
No,
now coming up
I'm
against.
not talking about that, bro. I'm
Oh,
talking
you're talking.
what's the main reason why you're 1-2? Why is this team playing so badly? When you point the fingers, who are you pointing the fingers at? I know the bullshit that, bro. This is 25 years of this, of adversity, and the next couple of games, if we do this or that or whatever. I've begun that. I'm talking about there's a problem here. Okay, why is there a problem? Who is the problem? Who are the problems? Tell me. That's what I want to hear from you.
I know what you're getting at, and it's the preparation. It's this team's preparation going into games. Uh, you had your starting quarterback. You didn't lose your starting quarterback until deep into this game, once it was already 3 touchdowns down against Buffalo. So you had him there, and he's faced Buffalo for so many times. And in games, there were issues with personnel decisions, play calling, uh, quarterback wide receiver communication themselves. Even though, going back to the personnel, some of those wide receivers, why were they in the games instead of other personnel decisions? Then you get your quarterback hurt in that game, and you don't have your backup quarterback prepared well enough to go into a road hostile environment, and you commit a lot of penalties in that environment. At the end of the day, right now, you have to point the finger at coaching. As much as I love Mike McDaniel as a person, and for this that mastermind that we believe him to be, but right now it's just not showing itself. And I feel like it's there somewhere, but he needs to bring it back out. But we haven't seen it these last 2 weeks, and
Where has the mastermind ever been? He's a play designer. He's not a mastermind.
play
Mastermind,
design. I'm saying, yeah.
yeah, okay, but not a mastermind. A mastermind can counter you. He doesn't counter. He doesn't counter. When they
Well,
he doesn't counter. He doesn't. He had to answer Brandon Staley a year later.
yeah. So
This guy doesn't counter at all. He can't counter in a game when they're stifling whatever he's doing. He's not a. I don't see. He's a play designer, but he's not really a smart coach, because smart coaches don't put, Robbie Chosen and Grant Dubose in those positions. Smart coaches don't put Durham Smythe for a play in the corner of the end zone.
in general, there are a lot of counters within the system. Like, it's based on the outside zone scheme. So once you're able to establish that and you get a defense to start over pursuing, that's when you start going to the other stuff, the cutting back inside and working other facets of the offense. So there's a lot of counters built into what they do. But I will say, there are a lot of examples of not making in-game adjustments. And then there are examples of him adjusting game to game, the next matchup when he sees an opponent. Brandon Staley's a great example. But sometimes within a game, it doesn't happen soon enough where you don't get those halftime adjustments, which are often so key. Which, by the way, I was watching the interviews, or I think I just saw it on social media. A great quote on or great answer from Lance Guidry of on halftime adjustments. I don't know if you saw that. Just how he was saying how a coach is always going to go to what he is known for, but then if he comes out with something different than what you saw on tape, then if you're able to stop that, then that's when they're going to go back to what they do. So I just thought it was a good answer on halftime adjustments in general. So that's kind of it stuck with me as far as with this conversation coming back up. But Mike McDaniel might need to bring some more of that mentality as far as just being able to predict what a coach, knowing what they're known to do, what they would do if you are able to force them out of their element. And then once you stop that, how you know they're going to go back to what they are known for. It's a mind game. Yeah.
How do you explain Skylar Thompson? Like I didn't think he was anything anyway, but how do you explain that Mike McDaniel absolutely misjudged this? Because he had him around for a couple of years. He should have been able to cut him and replace him several times, but yet he stuck with the kid, stuck with him over Mike White, and when he put him out there, he wasn't even ready, dude. He looked like a complete deer. Brother, he is Tannehill Thompson now. Seriously, he has the pocket presence of Ryan Tannehill, the same dude. And I mean, how bad, that's a terrible assessment. So how does Mike McDaniel get that so badly? Please explain that to me.
Yeah, this week's game against Seattle is what you get when you have a poor pass blocking offensive line and then a quarterback that is not used to getting the ball out quick like Tua Tagovailoa does. When I asked him preseason, how concerned are you with your interior offensive line blocking for you? He said, brother, I get the ball out quick. And now when someone cannot make those quick decisions, you see him just get absolutely demolished back there, taking several hits. He was sacked 5 times. I know the Seahawks had 12 total quarterback hits. I don't know how many were on
when he rolls out. The one he rolls out and they hit him from behind.
Last play of the half. Yeah.
How long does he think he can hold on to the ball?
Yeah, and I see on the video, like Aaron Brewer's like motioning like he's trying to yell at him, but I think the crowd is just too loud at that point to even hear. But that all goes back to preparation for this road environment. And actually, that was Mike McDaniel's answer when I asked him about the penalties, was they didn't handle the road very well, which and he takes that upon himself. He says that starts with himself. So I think he would agree with what you're saying as far as just that the preparation goes back to the head coach. But yeah, as far as the bigger picture on Skylar Thompson, yeah, this was a guy who you brought in. So this is handpicked for your offense. You have the same head coach, same offensive coordinator, Frank Smith, same quarterbacks coach, Darrell Bevell. Now going into year 3 with him since he was a 7th round pick. He had experience going back to 2022, even playoff experience, saw a hostile environment in Buffalo, had a year to sort of redshirt, if you will. So he never had to play. He was inactive every game last season with Tua healthy. And I think this speaks to the greater point of that the Dolphins did not invest in the backup quarterback position, knowing you have a quarterback in Tua Tagovailoa who's a bit fragile. He's going to miss games. You usually count on him missing games. And now they had one season where he did not miss a game, where he made it through his first full season healthy. And you kind of almost, I don't know if to say you forgot or you just figured that's the way it was going to be going forward. But
no, I think they play smart, and he decided to go back to playing stupid, and he paid the price for being stupid. Let's just be honest here. I'm the biggest Tua supporter out there, bro. I am convinced the kid can play at this level. I've watched it, but he needs a support staff, which he doesn't have because it's not a good enough coach. And then he's his own worst enemy because he used to either hold on to the ball too long so he can take hits, or he thinks he's some kind of football player. So, unfortunately, Tua went back to being stupid Tua. And if he wants to be stupid Tua, well, then he'll end up in the hospital. You know what I mean? But if he wants to be, that'll be interesting now when he comes back. Did he finally learn? Like, yo, I got to stay playing. Yo, brother, I get rid of the football quickly. Well, yo, brother, get rid of the football quickly. You're not there to run. You're not there to take on tacklers. If there's 5 yards, take it and slide like Boyle did. You saw the one run that Boyle did? That's it. That's exactly textbook running for a passing quarterback. There's 7 yards. Let me take it. Let me slide. I'll live for the next play. That's how you're supposed. That's the thing with Tua. Tua's got to stop being stupid, bro. That's all. It's pretty simple. Absolutely.
So when he comes back, he better learn from this case. And then I also hope that he does wear that guardian cap. I don't care how it looks. Just if it could add 10 to 15% protection, I hope he takes that measure. So we'll get that answer. Whenever he does clear concussion protocol and get taken off IR and is about to go into that first game. So hopefully he takes that measure as well. But in Skylar Thompson and trusting in him, the coach, the organization misjudged, and I understand it was a tough road environment for a backup quarterback to play in, but he's seen that before. And even then, that's not an excuse for the offense to move as poorly as it did. I could understand, you struggled a little bit, but you put together one touchdown drive. You put together a certain level of efficiency. There was just nothing.
You watch the film, he can't read. He can't read and react quickly, and he doesn't have an accurate arm. So to me, this is my follow-up question to the two questions that I've started with here. Why is there any hope if Mike McDaniel is your coach? From year one, where he didn't know the down against Buffalo, till now, the guy still the play where he bobbles the ball, Skylar, and they still recover. That play came in late, dude.
Yeah,
he still does all the same things he has done from year one. He does not call a good game. He doesn't know when to stick to the run. He doesn't win challenges. He doesn't put all of his players in positions to be successful. In other words, at times, he calls terrible plays. And so while he can design some really nice ones, he really doesn't know how to really structure everything properly. And because of that, he puts Tua or Skylar or his running game or his offensive line or his receivers at a disadvantage. Or look at Gesicki, had 47 yards again yesterday. He had like 90 the other day. So he's productive in another place, but he can't be productive here. You know what I'm saying? And you give him now Jonnu, and he still can't implement him in there like he should. This guy is not a good coach. So why is there any light at the end of the tunnel? Because to me, this talent should be 2-1, 3-0 with a real coach. That's the way I look at it. That's just me.
Yeah, when I looked at the schedule, I felt that between home against Buffalo and at Seattle, there would be a split there. So I was thinking 2-1 going through those three, and then reeling off a number of wins to get to 6-1 before you face at Buffalo. Because these next series of games, they got to win these. They got to. I mean, even with a backup quarterback playing now, you need to pile up wins here. You can't let the season get away before that second half of the schedule, which is really murderer's row. Especially when you get into December. So this could all slip away pretty fast if the Dolphins don't pick up some wins with this.
Yeah, but again, where is the light? What tells you that I'm going to get Eric Spoelstra and Don Shula right now? From Mike, that's what I need right now. Right now, I need Eric Spoelstra, Don Shula right now over the next couple of weeks. Without Tua, I need Eric Spoelstra and Don Shula. What tells you that Mike McDaniel can be that guy where he can win with less, when he can't win with more, by the way?
Well, they are facing a series of losing teams, if you will. Well, because he has had success against the losing teams.
But what's the examples that tells you? Show me what shows you that McDaniel can get this team out of this funk right now, in this position right now.
Yeah, it's going to be tough because you still see those same things that were dragging the team down back early on, that year one, getting the plays in on time. That might be the biggest, sticking with the run. So that was something they should have done more of in Seattle, probably. So some of those same things still rear their ugly head. I'm sure he's going to be hit with a lot of these questions this week, and it's certainly going to be on his mind. So we'll see if he does turn some kind of corner in those facets. But if those things remain constant, then you would be seeing the same results.
All right, let's get to the positive. The positive is Tua's fine, clearly fine. If he goes to Disney World the next day, if he travels to Seattle, that's a long ass flight, dude. And if you have head issues, that's not really what you want to do. So clearly he must have seen some neurologist. I know he has to see the other ones and all that other stuff because it's multiple ones and all kinds of stuff. But clearly he saw some kind of neurologist that allowed him to go on that plane. So that's the positive, that I think the 4 weeks were done more for optics. His crazy ass probably would come back in 2 weeks. But they said, no, we're not doing that. So we're going to put you on IR and give you a month and try to recover as much as possible. Positives, looks like Tua will be back easily in a month.
Yeah, I would say so. I would think that right after. I mean, I'm no doctor. Always all the prefacing qualifications.
You spent the Holiday Inn in Seattle, didn't you?
No, it was a Hilton Garden Inn. So maybe I should have, so that I could claim that. But yeah, I think certainly for optics, you weren't going to bring him back sooner or right once he gets cleared from the 5-stage concussion protocol, because maybe even if he were able to play immediately, you just don't want his first game back. God forbid he suffers another one. You don't want them to be in such proximity to each other, because it's the repeated blows to the head in close proximity to one another that could really, from what I hear, again, I'm not a doctor, could really lead to some adverse effects later on. So give him time. He suffered one game. Give him time.
You don't want another Buffalo Cincinnati again. Just saying. Go ahead. Just saying.
Right. Yeah. Buffalo to Cincinnati. That turnaround where whatever the diagnosis, whatever happened there, we find out that he wasn't given the concussion diagnosis one game. He plays 4 days later, and then certainly suffered one on the field in Cincinnati. So also just keep him away from Thursday night games, because the last 2 times he played on a Thursday night, you saw that ugly scene of him going down with one and that fencing pose, which is a very scary sight.
Keep him away from
and then this one against Buffalo.
Keep him away from the stupid pill. That's what I would tell. Tua needs like a friend of his to say, "Yo, moron, stop it already." Here's a tape of Marino. Here's a tape of Manning. Here's a tape of Brady. Here's a tape of Breeze. You see them putting shoulders into people? No. You see them trying to take on tacklers? No. You see them trying to outrun people? No. You see them holding the ball for 4 or 5 seconds? No. Do the same shit they do. That's all. Just stop taking the stupid pill. Stop thinking you're Superman and that you can do everything. Live with who you are. And that's the question that really has to be posed to Tua. Does he know who he is? Does he know his limitations? Because clearly he thinks he's like my Yorkie. My Yorkie is 3.5 pounds and thinks that he can take on the bigger dogs that weigh 75 pounds. And the bigger dogs are looking at him like, what's wrong with you, bro? Get out of my way. That kind of stuff. And Tua's like my Yorkie. And he's got to understand that he's a Yorkie. He's not a Rottweiler.
Yeah. And I think he does know at the heart of it, the quarterback he is. I feel like this was just a one-off instance where football competition got to him and he wanted to make a play. Yeah, because, I mean, he knows he's a guy who gets the ball out on time. When we asked him about his added mobility from losing weight this training camp, he said, no, it's not going to be used to become more of a runner. It's going to be to extend plays when needed. So
May I challenge you? May I challenge you simply on Tua's history? May I? Here we go. He comes back from a concussion. And guess what he does in the next game? He puts a shoulder right into the guy. And then he comes to the sidelines and he tells Mike McDaniel what? Oh, I needed that for myself. No, you didn't, asshole. No, you didn't. But he did it anyway, right? Because he does those kind of knuckleheaded things. As much as I love the kid, as much as I believe he's a terrific passer, he does these things. So he takes a bad sack in Alabama, backs the team up. Saban is freaking livid. So what did he do? He put his arm around Saban. He said, "Oh, don't worry, coach. I needed more space in order to throw a touchdown."
Well,
These are, I'm just telling you his history. I'm following it. I see what the individual is. He has a tendency of wanting to do too much. And that's why he holds on to the ball, and 300-pound guys fall on him because it's 4.5 seconds into the play and there's his hip dislocated. And the Thursday night game that you're talking about, that's the one he held for 5.05 seconds. I'm sorry, 5.1 second. Time it. 5.1 second. And it wasn't a bad tackle or anything. It's just they got him from the foot and he slipped back. And then that's when he hit his head in the back. And then he got concussed. But it happened to him because he held it for 5.1 seconds. And so you can't do that. And so he constantly does this all throughout his career, from college up until 2 weeks ago. So I don't know if he'll ever learn, because all the examples are there, and he continued. Dude, after the hip, he still does the stupid shit.
Well, I can understand him needing to feel a hit to feel comfortable again on a field. Well, think about it from just the player's perspective.
I never heard that from Marino, bro.
But maybe it's true for him. Maybe he's not, when he misses time and comes back. A lot of quarterbacks say this when it's like preseason. You've been in your red jersey in training camp. Oh, it's good to just take one hit and be okay from it. To just know mentally, all right, I got that out of the way. I needed to feel that just so that I can feel like I'm back into game mode. Get that out of the way, whether it's preseason or that opener in the regular season. But some guys need it from what
Jalen Hurts needs it. Lamar Jackson needs it. Josh Allen needs it because they're football players. Dan Marino, Drew Brees, Tua, Joe Montana, Bob Greasy. These guys, Joe Burrow. You think Joe Burrow, after all the injuries, you think he needs to come back? That's my point, my brother. There are certain guys.
I think mentally he needs that whenever he comes back from a stint away from getting hit, where it just needs it to happen once and see I'm okay after taking that hit. I understand the results that we end up seeing, but some guys, just to feel comfortable on that field between those lines, they need that for themselves. So sometimes that's what, and it's football at the end of the day. It's even if he's perfect as far as getting the ball out, making the decisions, everything, avoiding contact, eventually you are going to get hit back there. It's just unless everything you call is for him to get the ball out. There's going to be at some point where there's an unabated player to the quarterback, and he needs to get the ball out within a second. So at some point you are going to take a hit as a quarterback. So, and just feel, okay, I took that hit. I'm okay from it. I could keep going. Like, it's just eventually you are going to take a hit. The sport is still football.
Tim Boyle starts this week, right? There's no way you go back to Scott. Plus, he said that chest injury, whatever it wasn't good.
Ribs, Mike McDaniel said later.
Ribs. Obviously I don't think he starts. I'm expecting Tim Boyle, and I'm expecting Wildcat stuff from Huntley too this week. I could see them doing, because I don't think you're going to put Huntley in there as a QB. I think you'll put him more as a wild card guy. So what do you think? What are you expecting this week?
Yeah, that's where I would lean to. We're going to speak to Mike McDaniel later today, actually. So probably get some updates on Skylar Thompson's status, and then what the quarterback situation would be, whether or not he can go. I know the scenes that we saw in Seattle indicated he's probably not looking like he could go for a following week, but we'll leave that up to the update that we hear. And maybe even if so, Tim Boyle was moving the offense better. I know it was late in the game, different scenario. The Seahawks play it differently when they had the lead late, but still, I think he just managed the offense better, drove them down. So, as opposed to Skylar Thompson, got gifted a drive to start at the 5-yard line, and then they still didn't score a touchdown. Sure, yeah.
Watch the film, bro. Tim Boyle's eyes are much better than Skylar Thompson's. That one play that he threw the sidearm to complete it to Jonnu Smith, by the way, between the two guys, that one throw there, Skylar Thompson can't make. Skylar Thompson can't see. That's a that's an anticipatory type of throw almost what he did there. So yes, there's and I'm not a Tim Boyle guy because I've watched him play and I have not been impressed. But then again,
Right.
who knows? Maybe he comes here and this is the right spot for him. I have no idea. Those kind of things can never. But I would definitely never go back. In fact, I would cut Skylar Thompson once Tua comes back in 2 weeks. I'm cutting Skylar Thompson is what I'm doing. That's just me. But I think I said there were 3 things that were going to happen for Skylar this month. He was going to prove he's a starter. He's going to prove he's a backup, or he's going to prove that he needs to get cut. And I was going for that door. And that's what he's proven, that he should get cut. So we'll see what happens there. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, I hear you there. Well, in the scenario where Skylar Thompson can't go, and then it's Tim Boyle and Tyler Huntley as your backup, which that would be an opportunity for Mike McDaniel to show his creativity in the play calling, which, by the way, I wanted to see some trick plays, something to spice it up. Have either Achane throw a halfback pass or a Tyreek Hill come around, and we've seen him that he can launch the ball with his left-handed throwing motion. Like, get creative, do something. But they just ran sort of their standard offense and even didn't stick with the run at that. But anyway, yeah, if you find success with a Tim Boyle combination and some Tyler Huntley Wildcat stuff and maybe Achane Wildcat, just different things. I just want to see that Mike McDaniel creativity come about. Now, given this situation, then in that case, now you're maybe looking at we shove Skylar Thompson to the side. Maybe even with the injury, they just put him on injured reserve if it's something that you could just do that for him. But if then you see Tim Boyle gives you a better chance as a backup quarterback, or a Tyler Huntley, or the combination thereof, then even when Tua comes back, you're saying, all right, sorry, Skylar.
That's it. Follow him on Twitter at David Furones. Catch his work there at the South Florida Sun Sentinel. And he'll be back on Friday. As always, David, thank you, my brother. Appreciate you. Have a terrific week.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Got it. There you go. Welt and Rheaume. We love Jeff Welt and Daniel Rheaume. Give them a ring, 954-966-4646. I know a lot of you are dealing with bankruptcy issues all across the country. Americans are, their savings accounts are as low as it's ever been. A lot of people going into their 401ks. If you are having issues, call Welt and Rheaume, 954-966-4646. Homeowner property damage, condo damage, criminal defense, business owner claims, commercial litigation, personal injury. We've got a storm. We're about to get hit by a storm and a lot of water. So if there's any water damage to your home, condo, business, do not call the insurance company. Call Welt and Rheaume. They will send their adjusters. 954-966-4646. You'll never have to deal with the insurance company. They will deal with the insurance company for you, and all you're going to do is pick up a check from Welt and Rheaume. Hour number 2, and Manny Navarro next.